Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market and figure out what happened today on a pretty massive day for Tesla all over the place. And yeah, well, really what it all means and moving forward as well. So with that being said and done, if you enjoyed this video as per usual, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section is live. That link is down below. A lot of updates and posts today, of course, on a pretty massive day for Tesla. But, you know, definitely check it out. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my intraday thoughts, posts, updates, technical analysis, option flow updates on Tesla and sometimes other stocks every single day live as the market is trading essentially. So if you're interested in that and you might find that useful, that link is in the description of the video down below. But with that being said and done, let's just jump into a Tesla and closing the day up about 3%, closing at pretty much 182.5 exactly, almost to the cents. So pretty nice to see, but it did give up a decent amount of gains because towards the top of the day, near the top of the day rather, we were pretty much up about almost 8% even actually. So definitely gave up a decent amount of the gains throughout the day, about half of them roughly, but sometimes it just be like that, right? But what does this really mean moving forward? So obviously the question is, well, why is it even rallying today? The shareholder event is in 30 minutes. Why is it rallying? Well, because Elon essentially posted yesterday on Twitter, X, whatever, that the vote for his pay package and that reallocation to Texas is pretty much good to go. Like there's, I mean, according to what he posted, it's not like 100% because I think we get the 100% at the shareholder events, but it's like pretty much 99% that it's passed and it's good to go. So unless something weird changes, I don't know. But so that's why it rallied. It rallied after hours on Robinhood. I did post it to my members yesterday, last night. I was up at like, I don't know, it was like 11 a.m. or something, or p.m. At night, somewhere all the way down here. You can see it was rallying on the news. And yeah, so that's pretty interesting. But, you know, we came up to pretty important levels and we did reject at pretty important levels, right? So we came up almost exactly to about $190 per share, which is a pretty decent area of resistance, right? I mean, the main one really is this pivot point up here at about 187, but we came up to about 190, which we got rejected and we had some support over here. You can see, right? This kind of, you know, general area right here, which is exactly where we got rejected at, right? If you kind of take it over to the right side here, you can see, right? If I bring this over, you can see it's, you know, very similar situation, right? So, you know, there is definitely some resistance and some selling pressure really that's going to be, you know, applied there, and it clearly has been applied there, right? But the thing that's important to note is the fact that Tesla has officially and unquestionably broken out of this downward trend that we've been in for quite some time now, really. This has been in here for quite some time and we have broken out. So that's a good sign. In my opinion, that's a bullish structure. That's a bullish, you know, breakout, and there's really no other way about it. And this is going to be a hard one to make a case for being a false breakout because it's a pretty powerful breakout. It was a pretty substantial breakout, even though we gave up about half of the gains today, right? You know, it's fine, at least in my opinion, as of right now, if that's the case, which is, you know, it's all good. Now, moving forward, what does this mean, right? So again, I still wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more retracement. If I go over to the 1 hour chart, you can see over here, right? You know, this Fibonacci, if you take it from that kind of swing low that we had just recently, literally just 2 days ago or something like that, where we were at 167.5, swing it to the top that we had today that we rejected at about 191, and you get that Fibonacci retracement. Well, the first level we were actually kind of still technically holding. We were going below it, but we actually held it towards the close. I think we had a pump towards the close. Yeah, a bit of a pump towards the close over here. Is that 0.382 level, right? That 0.382 fib level, 181, pretty much 182 is the first level to hold. If we hold this level, that means that this move to the upside and this breakout that we had so far is a powerful breakout, and that the bullish continuation should commence sooner than later, and it should be a pretty decent bullish continuation moving forward, most likely going into 200, or at least touching around 200. If we do go retrace even lower to the 0.5 level, that's pretty much 179. Below that is a 618 level, which is sitting at pretty much 176. So those are the main levels to look for on a potential retracement if we go deeper and further down. But I was saying this to my members, you know, pretty much all morning. I was saying how if we do retrace like this, in which we are, I personally would not be surprised if we do hold the low 180s. I don't think we'll go much lower than the 0.5 level as of right now. Worst case, realistically, for the bull scenario is the 618 level. But I really don't think we'll go lower than, if we do go lower, than the 0.5 level, assuming we lose this 382 level ultimately, right? Which again, essentially will be between 182 to about 179. I expect that region to hold mainly because of the Fibonacci's, but if we remove that, you can also take a look at, well, just how much this area has proven as a massive, massive resistance. Constantly, every single time we've come up to this general vicinity, we've gotten rejected every single time. Like, look at all of this rejection, all of this right here, right? You can see how much rejection happened within this blue kind of, you know, circle, I guess, whatever, that, I just drew, right? A lot of rejection. And what does that mean now that we broke out of it, right? It's a classic flip. Kind of like what happened here, though. This area, in theory, could have been a massive resistance, but we ended up breaking right back into it, which, again, ended up being a false breakdown. It's not very often you get such false breakdowns and you just blast right back into it like that. In theory, it could still happen that we do blast back downwards, past that, what in theory now is support, that 180-ish level. That is a possibility. I personally just don't see that happening because, again, like I said yesterday, even though this did show a sign of weakness, usually when you have these kind of bear traps, and this is what I said yesterday, usually when you have these bear traps and these false break, in this case, downwards, it acts like a slingshot the opposite direction. And that's kind of what we've been seeing so far. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see what the shareholder event does for the stock, of course, moving forward. If there's any other information, maybe now that we get, like, without question, 100% official confirmation that the shareholders have passed those votes, right? That could maybe give a little bit of an extra surge. And maybe other news, who knows, for sure, right? But it's good to see, and in my opinion, it's one of the biggest overhangs and dramas, if you will, lifted from the stock, which I think is a good sign. But that's mainly why I do expect this region to hold personally, right? Now, moving up, right? Now that we did break out, I personally believe that the move to at least this 198 to about 205 level, this sort of region all the way up here, I think is pretty likely now. I really do. I think it's a very likely move to happen, and I think it's pretty expected at this point. Now, when is it going to happen? I don't know. I still think it'll probably be sometime in June. I would expect 198 to 205 being hit sometime in June. I don't know when in June. Could be next week. Could be the week after. I have no idea. But based on this breakout and the fact that we finally have broken out of this downtrend, that's a bullish thing, man. That's very, very bullish. And I can't imagine this not being some form of continuation, and this just being an opportunity to kind of potentially enter if you haven't been entering yet. Just my opinion, not financial advice. This could be just a scare tactic that people, they're scaring people off thinking that, oh, well, wait, hold on, that was really good news when we gave up the majority of the gains. Maybe the stock is actually really that weak. I'm going to sell and maybe wait. It could be like one of those instances being played. I mean, it is on some pretty big volume today, naturally, but yeah, I don't know. Again, the way I look at it with this breakout and this Fibonacci potential retracement coming in, I think that it's definitely more bullish than bearish. There's no question about that now that we officially broken out. Now, MACD did actually flip bullish earlier today, but because we gave up a lot of the gains, it did kind of go into a neutral state. So it's neutral on the daily. That's fine. Our side definitely showing some life over here. Our side looking pretty solid now. Stochastic with that bullish crossover yesterday, continuing that bullish crossover-ness, if you will, today, which is a good sign to see. The weekly chart, of course, right, potentially printing a bullish engulfing candle over here on the weekly, right, as it's fully engulfing this candle on the side here, which should be a pretty bullish, not necessarily reversal, since we're not really reversing, but continuation pattern, I guess, if that makes sense. So that's a good sign. We still have tomorrow, so the volume will exceed last week and the week before that, which is a good sign to see as well. Stochastic has officially stopped the curl and is pointing straight back up after today, which is also good to see. MACD still bullish. RSI actually starting to look pretty solid, poking its head above, right? Looking pretty decent as well. So a lot of signs are pointing for a continuation. It's just a matter of when and how much further. Again, personally, I believe that 198 to 205 is really not out of the question sometime in July. I just don't know when. But that's looking pretty solid. Options flow overall, there's one that I really like that came in today. Let me go ahead and see if I can quickly find it. I was actually just looking at it. I don't know where it went. Let me go ahead and quickly see if I can spot it out here. Here it is. 1.32 million came in today at 10:45 a.m. at 182.75. So pretty much where we closed. 200 strike, which is good, very nice, out of the money, right? It's not like severely out of the money, but respectably out of the money for something that is a 1.3 million call, and it's not ridiculously far dated. It's just for, what is that, September 20th? That's not that far out. That's only like, what, 2.5-ish, 3 months roughly, right? Yeah, 3 months. So it's really not that far out. That's a very respectable, very nice looking call that came in with a nice hefty amount of premium, $1.3 million. That's a lot of money. So nice to see this. I like to see this. This gives me some confidence that the continuation hopefully will continue. And of course, we'll see how that actually moves forward. But it's a nice call to see. Now, on the contrary, we did get almost a 1.7 million puts that came in on Tesla at 184.42. That is for August 16th. 185 strikes. So it is in the money. So it is not out of the money. So it is shorter dated, but it is in the money. So kind of conflicting there with those two. But again, the way I look at it, just through technical analysis, I like the way it looks. In terms of sold options on Cheddar Flow, which again, I have a link to both of these services down below if you're interested with the discounts. A lot of sold calls today, a lot of sold calls. Nothing completely crazy, nothing that really stood out to me. I guess he had his 1.3 million here, 180.65 sold call, which is very strange. I'm not sure why they would do this personally, unless they think Tesla's going to crash. I find that hard to believe personally, but July 19th, So take that for what it's worth, I guess. Maybe they know what they're doing, then I don't, but that's kind of strange to me personally. Nonetheless, though, regardless, Tesla, in my opinion, looking pretty damn solid. I think continuation is likely. Again, wouldn't be surprised to see a bit more of a retrace in the short term, potentially to about 180, 179. Really wouldn't fully shock me. But as long as that area holds, and as long as you can see on the daily chart, right, how many wicks were in this kind of 179 to 180, two range right here. You can see how many times we came up to this area and how many times we wicked and came down back down, right? Many times. So again, it's natural to take this area of old resistance and turn it into new support. And that's essentially what I expect to happen. And if that's the case, I think our way up should be pretty solid. Market bias, of course, go ahead and show you guys here. Obviously turning back to bullish, which is nice after this false breakdown, which is always good to see. We have the 8 and the 13, obviously crossing once again. That's also bullish to see. So that's always a very nice thing. You can see these kind of crossing over here together, right? The green crossing the red, very bullish. That's also a good sign. The 21 EMA, we're above it. 100-day moving average, we're now above that as well. So that in theory could act as a support if we do come down to about 179, which is roughly where it's sitting at. And that's, in my opinion, all good news. I want to switch this to the 200-day moving average now because the 50 is well below us. And you can see the 200-day moving average could potentially be as a bit of a resistance, but it's still well above us at $210 per share. So nothing to worry about just yet, but something to keep in mind as we move higher potentially in the coming weeks, if you will. So all in all, in my opinion, Tesla looks good. Unless something weird happens at the shareholder event, I do believe that Tesla, even if we get that small retracement tomorrow down to about 180, still looks good, still looks solid, still looks bullish. And this breakout has officially been confirmed above this trend line that has been haunting us ever since December of last year, for half a year now. So that's good to see. And I think Tesla, yeah, it looks good, man. It looks good. It's hard to look at this and think it's bearish, personally, just in my opinion. But yeah, all that being said and done, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.